behind her and help. Okay, what's happening? I'm going to stand behind her and help push her into her destiny. Pretty woman pray. Is that all?
That's all. Thank you. Thank you very much. To start off, to start us off, I'm going to do a small short icebreaker. We've gone through 2020, life has happened, but let's just go back to humanity and us and how we engage with the community. And I'm going to ask all of you to please share with us how you greet in your home language, you know, just back to the basics. Anybody?
I can go first.
Thank you, Zintle.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So I am Ndebele, and in my home language, we say agwande, and then the person gonna reply says, I'm sorry, you say lochan, and then they say agwande right back at you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Me.
Yes, it's all.
Okay, well, I speak two languages. One which is my dad's and the other which is my mom's. In my mom's language, which is Tswana, we say dumelang, which the person is gonna reply and say lekai, then in my dad's language, which is Tsonga, we say abshen, wako aye, iko minjani, ifukin minjani fukin. Thank you.
Thank you. One last person, and then we'll let everyone else to share their greetings on the chat. Anyone?
Can I go? Okay.
Yes,
Ma'am, can I? Okay. We say thobela, le kae rona, le tswile byang, re tswile botse.
Thank you. I'm going to ask everybody else to please share their greetings on the chat group so that we can go through them at the end. So in terms of our agenda for today, we have a full packed agenda. We're going to do a recap on all our previous sessions, and our sister Ayanda is going to assist us with that. Then I'm going to go through the introduction of ethics and values in decision making. We're going to have a short role play where I'm going to have a quick discussion, 5 minutes discussion, and then we're going to hand over to our keynote speaker, who is Rita Butlana. I'm quite excited about that. And then we're going to go through our mentorship circles, and then we'll have our feedback sharing in the bigger group. But more excitingly for today, we're going to have our graduation, and I'm going to hand over that session to Val, who's going to assist us run through it. So with no further delay, I'm going to ask Ayanda, could you please do a recap on all the amazing sessions that we had?
No problem. Let me first say hi, ladies. Hi, my sisters. I hope you are nice and cool on this hot day. I tried to be cool with my stunners. So I welcome you all to this final session. And as you know, we always have to recap. So I'm going to start from scratch, from our introduction, where we did building trust. Just before I continue, I just want to ask, is my signal clear? Can you guys hear me clearly, or do I need to move around? Am I breaking? Okay, perfect. Okay, so the first session was on building trust, and in this session, we introduced ourselves to one another. We spoke about our goals, our dreams, and most importantly, we set the norms and the expectations for every group. So we got to know each other, we got to love each other, we got to start our bond, and we got to start the sisterhood. That was session number 1. The second session, session 2, We had awesome speaker, Nina Hasty, come and bless us with her beautiful words on courageous leadership. She being a courageous leader in her own right. And in courageously, our key concepts were: number one, find the mission and purpose you care about. Number two, invest in the information gathering years. Number three, grow your village. And number four, keep your eye on the bigger picture. So that was session 2, courageous leadership. Our third session, the art of communication, where we had a few role plays. That session, our key concepts were: 1, know your audience; 2, know your why; and 3, make your call to action. And that was the art of communication. And the art of communication then led to our fourth session, negotiation, which we had this week. And the concepts there were: yourself, what are your goals, your interests; others, who can help you achieve these; what's blocking you, and what can you draw upon; and thirdly, understanding. Understanding is how you can appeal to people who are supporting you. So all these 4 sessions are just a build up to our final session. Oh, sorry, no, the fifth one. The fifth session was public service, running for office. That one, unfortunately, I wasn't there for that one. But the key concepts were: don't change who you are. Nothing should arrive before you. Get your hands and your voice together in delivering your message for the people that believe it. And lastly, don't let anyone patronize you, which is a powerful message for women. So those were our 5 sessions. And Gladys, I'll leave it to you for number 6.
Thank you, Ayanda. So let's get into session 6, ethics and values. Ethics and values in decision making, right? Now, session 6 is more about moral choices that we have to make, and values and principles that inform our decisions. Unlike all the other topics, we haven't had a video about this, but we've had, I'm sure in your mentee books, they made reference to a professor called Professor Christopher Robichaud's framework. And I would actually recommend that you go and actually listen to him, right? So in there, while we're making our moral choices, we have to make sure that our values and principles that inform the decision we take come forth, right? As leaders, sometimes we have to take difficult decisions that are often conflicted and at times compromised by our own human nature, failings and society imperfections. Sometimes we might have biases towards our friends, biases towards our family, biases towards our community, and as such, we end up making the wrong or not the right decision in that time. As leaders or people as part of the community, our journey continuously changes. The context, the situations, and the norms are not static. And these are never clearly black and white. I am sure when you were young, when you're 5 years old and you had to make a choice, you knew exactly what you had to do. But as you grew older, you became more in touch with other people who had various belief systems and etc. And slowly by slowly, could easily get swayed off, right? So it's not easy to classify action as good and bad. And this makes it more difficult for us to make decisions. So we therefore have to develop skills to enable us to take these difficult decisions in our ethical principles and values. So for example, for you girls at school, it could be at home, it could be at in your family groups, in your communities, back in your villages, right? Now, what Professor Christopher Robichaud teaches in his framework is that there are key principles that are important for us. And these are in terms of values and ethics are never made straight in all behaviors and are covered, and this was also obviously covered in our previous session. Importance for us is to know our value system and not everyone else's. Whatever people from another country do shouldn't be what you necessarily have to do. So you need to shift in your mindset. We are always faced with ethical dilemmas, always looking for options. We're always looking for options in challenging situations. so as not to compromise our value system. There's never only one answer. There's a lot of answers, and we need to be able to unpack that, right? And many a times we also have to think from it in terms of that the easiest solution is not always the right solution, though it might be the one that, oh, let me just go for it. Let me just take the money and do that. But it's never the right decision. It's never always the right decision, right? So it's very important for us to draw back from our principle guidelines and code of ethics, from our family, from our society, from our church. Professor Christopher's framework addresses ethical challenges at personal, that's you as individuals, at organizational, that is from your schools or whatever society you might be part of a Girls Guide, and obviously from a society level, right? Maybe you come from a village, you come from something wider than that, right? And in there, step 1, he indicates that we need to understand the issues. In a situation where you have to take difficult decisions, try to unpack the values, the principles that you think are at play, right? At a personal level, what is truth? What is fair? What is justice? At an organizational level, what are your values from schools? What are your non-negotiables from school? No cheating, no stealing, no violence, you know? And at a society level, what are your values as a community? From your village, from South Africa, from your church, right? So you need to understand what you're operating, where you're operating from and who you're engaging with. And then examine the strategy and options that are available to you, because you always have options. And there's never just one option. In light of the values and principles that you stand for instance, there's a rampant cheating in your school. Do you walk away? Do you report? Or do you just take the exam like, you know, no one knows? You need to make a decision or a choice that best serves you, but also serves your values, so that when you go home, when you go to sleep at night, you can be like, yes, I did the right thing. Then step 3, evaluate the potential outcomes, right, from the decision that you make. Do I take the easier one, but what's the outcome out of it, you know? Is there a success and is there failure? And is the success for the community or is it just for me? Those are the kind of decisions that you have to evaluate, or the outcomes that you have to evaluate. And the actions that you take forward should ensure that if you go to sleep, you'll be like, yes, I played my part as part of the society. And in order to help us unpack this, I'm going to ask Sharon and Rebecca to do a quick role play for us, just to unpack the principles behind this.
May I start?
Yes, thank you, Rebecca, and thank you, Sharon.
Okay. Yo, hello, Oh, I just came from Dindra's office right now, and wow, Joe, she had sent me to go to her office just to drop off some files, and when I got in, immediately right there on top of the desk, not even hidden or underneath anything, there it was, tomorrow's test. Like, I saw the question paper and I went through it and I saw some information there, and your friend, I can tell you what is in the test if you want. You're like, yo, I'm so happy we're gonna pass. Yo, I've been stressing. Yo.
I told me, you can't do that.
How?
Like, no, you can't.
Why not? But my friend, we need to pass.
How are you gonna feel you passed this exam with flying colors, knowing that it was just creme work?
No, friend, it's not about creme work. This is an opportunity you should grab by the hand. When you see something, take it.
No, Chomi, but we were not raised like that. We were raised to be honest. You can't just say because you had access to that paper now, you're gonna copy those answers. You must go and tell ma'am.
Tell ma'am? Then if we tell ma'am, then she's probably gonna cancel the paper tomorrow, and I have high chances of not passing that paper because I know it's going to be difficult. I'm so glad I saw the paper. Why aren't you happy, Mara? We're gonna pass.
No, if she canceled the paper, it's fine, you know. Remember, what about your church values? We go to church and they always preach that we must be honest. And our mothers also taught us that we must always be true to ourselves. And we come from a very ethical community. You cannot do that, Chomi.
But Chomi, like, you can't tell me that I should go and tell the teacher now. Like, okay, I understand, yeah, ethics and values, but just this one time. I never do this, just this one time, and I really need to pass this test. Amara Chomi, this is just like a one time. Please, come on, please don't do this to me. Please, you're making me feel guilty about this right now.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Rebecca and Sharon. Let's just give them a hand for that. So can we unpack the role play? Could someone, based on the framework that I have presented in terms of understanding the issue and examining the strategy in terms of options that are available to you and evaluating the potential outcome, could someone please describe what was the issue here?
Can I describe the issue?
Yes.
The issue that was presented in the role play was that Rebecca saw a paper that she was going to write, and she was planning on cheating. And then the friend was against her cheating in the exam because of the way that they were raised.
Thank you. Anyone else? Can we look at it at strategies? Yes, Rebecca gave her strategy. What other strategy would you have looked at? You know, would you have approached or would you have used in this situation? Michelle?
Ma'am, I'm not sure if I understand your question.
So Rebecca presented to us what options she wanted to go for in terms of the issue, in terms of seeing the paper and wanting to, like, you know, just cramming it and writing the exam. What other options would have been available for you to take in such a situation?
Honestly, ma'am, I think I was going to approach the teacher and tell her that I saw the paper. Yes, ma'am, yeah.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other person? Two more people?
Hello.
Yes, Kathy.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell anyone. It was going to be my secret. I wouldn't even tell my friend.
And what would the outcome be?
I don't know, but I feel like it would be more safer if I keep it to myself.
Okay, not judging, but then you also have to think about, you know, what are your values? Do you think that you saw enough that would lead you to cheating, you know?
Yeah.
Anybody else? One last person.
Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Can I go?
Yes, thank you.
Honestly, okay, from my side, if I had gotten like a paper and I'm a sharer. I know for sure I was gonna tell my friends, I saw this. But end of the day, coming to think of it, if I had seen the paper and I kept quiet, it was gonna eat me up. Like, oh guys, am I really doing this? I don't think I can go through with this. But yeah. But the fact that I can I know my friends. Knowing my friends would be like, it's fine, friend. We are writing tomorrow. We are passing this paper. But yeah, if I was alone, honestly, it would eat me up. I don't want to lie. It would eat me up. Like, I'll probably not go to school the day of the paper and just say I was sick.
Well, you see, based on your decisions that you'd have made, it would have resulted maybe into guilt and then various outcomes. And just one other aspect that I'd also want you to think about, that fine, you see the paper now, you know that this diagram is coming, this table is coming, and then you go and cram it. Then what happens next? You know, when the next exam comes, you know, what will happen? You still have to understand the concepts behind the subject so that you don't only just cram, you know. And what happens when you go to university? And you're always going to be looking for ways to find papers, you know, and that's the kind of those are the kind of results that you have to think about, and aspects that you have to think that I'd rather have an understanding of the subject that I'm doing, getting to luck, you know, while saying that luck isn't a good thing, but what's the end result later on in life? It's better to understand everything than just cramming for one thing.
Ladies,
Okay,
can I just add before you move on?
Yes, thanks a lot, Asnath.
I think, I don't know if I've mentioned it before on this group, that the people close to me will always talk about thinking from the end. So I just want to add to what you're saying, because if you then go and cheat, does that not say that your future is not important? You don't consider your future to be important? Because if you take this shortcut, what happens when you get a job and you can't perform according to your results? So something that helps is always thinking from the end. If I do this, what are the actual results at the end of the day? Thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you. It's always planning while looking at the outcome that you want to achieve. Okay, with that, I am going to go to the next, our next aspect of the session, and I'm going to introduce our guest speaker, Rita Mhlame. So just give you a quick introduction. Rita has a bachelor's degrees of law degree and a master's in business administration. She's also a certified Franklin Covey trainer for several leadership and productivity courses, including the 7 Habits of Effective People. Rita is a development consultant with more than 15 years of international experience. Before she started her own company, Rita worked for Deloitte, South Africa, Deloitte, Zambia, and PricewaterhouseCoopers and Namibia as a senior manager of the International Development Assistance Line. Her work experience mostly comprised of provision of consultancy services of different types in the public and the private sectors for NGOs and governments. More importantly for this group is that Rita is the country leader of Girls for Girls for South Africa. Her dedication and authenticity is an inspiration to everybody, and you'll hear this when she does her presentation. At a personal level, she has invested time in working with young women to develop their leadership capacity. She does this through Girls for Girls, which was started last year with UJ, and with more than 40 young women at the University of Joburg. In 2020, Girls for Girls has rolled out in 7 communities, in high schools, in universities, and is expecting to reach 300 girls. And it keeps on rolling out even through lockdown. We found ways through Rita's leadership, we've strategized. And with that, I'm not going to overtalk. I'm just going to let her wow you with her presentation. So over to you, Rita. Thank you.
Thank you, Gladys. I'm sitting here just listening and I'm like, yeah, I think there's a shorter story around here, but thank you very much for the introductions. What can I say? It's a tough one, huh? Because like, I feel like I know this cohort. I've been listening to Val, I've been listening to Asnath, and of course I've been reading the reports that are generated out of the 3 sessions. I'm extremely excited to be here. I think to the girls, we're so proud of you. The lockdown has not been easy for a lot of us, but the tenacity that has been shown in this group, the fact that you guys can say in 1 week, you're going to wrap this thing up and do sessions 4, 5, and 6. I take my hat off to the mentors, but I think I take it off even more for the mentees. So thank you very much. I think we're extremely proud of your cohort. I keep hearing how smart you are, and I've already started experiencing it. So my journey, rather my task today is to talk to you about ethics and values in decision making. So some people like to just talk about ethics and values, but like Gladys has very well spoken out and articulated, it's how do you apply? How do you bring this method, this thought process of applying ethics and values when you're making important decisions? And these are things that are going to be important for you as leaders. For me, I mean, if I was here in the beginning, I would have told you, and I'm sure someone said it to you, that what Girls for Girls is all about is about empowering girls to lead. By the time we get to session 6, especially this particular group, we understand that we have allowed the leaders to emerge. So this session on ethics and values in decision making it's like the proverbial cherry on the cake. It's the last thing you need to know. Some people ask why it comes at the end. I mean, why didn't we address it in the beginning? But it's also because this is one of the areas where leaders make their biggest mistakes. If you stop just for a moment and you think about what is going wrong in our society, in our country, and you reflect, you will see that there were issues related to ethics and values when decision-making was being done. So this is a final insight. This is a final big lesson for you to carry forward in your journey as leaders, whether at a personal level as well as at a, like Gladys was saying, maybe at an organizational level, but also at a societal level, because that is where we expect you to be, the spaces we expect you to be entering. We don't think you're going to be leaders and sitting in a small space. We expect you to step up into the big leadership space, which is the societal and the public office space. So Gladys has talked about what the key components of ethics and values are. But and I want to unpack the concept of moral dilemmas. Moral dilemmas, I think if we talk about it from an emotional perspective, it's those things that tear you apart. Listening to the skit that was played earlier on, I actually think that it's Sharon that had the bigger moral dilemma. I'll tell you why. It's because her friend came to her, her friend who she likes, yeah, they kept on saying it, and who she would not want to report, comes to her with some very wrong information. So that's the one tug. She cares for her friend, but the other side that's tugging her is that little thing in the head that is saying, no, Sharon, this is wrong. We need to report it. That is a moral dilemma. When you feel that you're being torn into two about something. And it's very important we understand it. There's a difference between a moral dilemma and just making a bad decision. Think about, we all know the guy who does the Outsurance ad, and I'm sure all of you have seen the horrible stories that are going around. That's just a bad decision. You know, he cheated on his wife. It was not a moral dilemma. He just made a bad decision. But think about, for example, the politicians, and we know them, I won't name names, who take a package or a contribution from a criminal, and she goes and buys 100 food packs for the people in her community. Some of you might be familiar with that story. In that instance, it's a bad decision, but it's more a moral dilemma, because when she took that, when the offer came, she did not take it for her selfish reasons. She took it and thought to herself, okay, this Christmas, there'll be 100 poor families that will have a package, you know, of food to be able to eat. The other side that's tugging her is like, this is the wrong person to be taking the food packages from. That's a moral dilemma. When you feel like, no, there's something that's not right here. And it is important that you're able to tell the difference between the two. Simple decision, do I take this salary? Do I take this job or not? That's clear-cut decision. You go and you negotiate for it. You have those skills. But when there's something that is countering the good that you think you're going to get, that's when we have a moral dilemma. So I think that's for me my starting point, that ethics and values is not about just making any decision. It's about making those decisions that tug at you. And it, like I said, it comes more when we are talking about leaders. So think about President Cyril Ramaphosa and the decisions he has had to make under the lockdown, where he says, let's send the kids back to school. His moral dilemma is that his youth, yeah, this country's lifeblood, is about to be put at risk health-wise because he's going to send them to school. But the other, so the simple decision would be just don't send them back to school. But listen to you guys in your heart, I'm sure you're so frustrated with some of the things you've had to do, learning online, or for those of you who have gone back, having to go back, you know, like in a staggered fashion. So leaders sit there having to make very critical decisions like that. And you know you're facing a moral dilemma when you feel that something is tugging at you. Your parents go through it. Think about your parents trying to figure out, so do we let her go back to school, or, you know, or stay at home? But think about yourself as well. Sometimes you make friends and you're embarrassed to take this new friend. So you meet Gladys, you like Gladys, and you want to introduce her to your other friends, yeah? But then you decide, no, you know what? She doesn't speak the same language. She doesn't dress like them. She doesn't come from the same background. You're being torn here. You're being torn because you really like this person and you've created a bond with this person, which is friendship, and that is what you value. But on the other side, you also have allegiance to the others. So moral dilemmas, the point I'm making is that it's not only huge, big decisions, it also sneaks up on you. And you need to be conscious about it. Your mind needs to be open to say, wait a moment, I'm addressing a moral dilemma. The fact that I'm trying to malign a friend of mine and say, I like her, I would like to grow my relationship with her, but I'm not going to have that friendship with her because these other ones whose friendship I also like, you know, they somehow don't fit together. That's where your value system gets torn apart, and you have to make some decisions. So I'd like to play a little game with you, and I've asked Val to run a mini poll, just for us to truly understand what it means to be facing a moral dilemma. Val, are we able to do it? Yeah, here we go. Okay, so it's only one question that I wanted to ask. Let's imagine you're invited to your best friend's 18th birthday party. She has been talking about it. You guys have been planning about it, and the day arrives. You're dressed up, you go to her home, party is already underway, but then you discover that at the back of her house, her brother, her older brother, who she likes quite a lot, by the way, is dealing drugs, okay? And some of your friends, your more naive friends, are actually being lured. They're actually being, you know, told, come and try something. So you see it, yeah? You now recognize that, wait a moment, this is something that's not right. I want you to look at the three answers that I've proposed to you, the three options, like to use Gladys's language. What would you do? Would you be a loyal friend and stay at the party? Honor her, yeah? Understanding that some of your friends are at risk of starting a drug habit, yeah? Option two, would you be responsible? You call it out. You say no to your friend and her mom. This is what's happening at the back of the house. What's the risk there? They won't like you after that. The third one is you actually go a step further where you say, I'm going to be law abiding because I have a principle against drugs. You're going to leave the party and you're actually going to report it to the police. So your best friend's 18th birthday party, unfortunately, is going to be memorable for that. So basically, you can easily become an outcast in your society. Can you click one answer? What would you go with? Which option would you go with? And don't worry, we don't know who is voting, but do click on it. Click and submit. Huh? And Val, I don't know how many people we are, but maybe when you get...
We've got 100%. Okay, I'm going to end.
Okay, already. Okay, perfect. So can you share the results? Yay. Okay, this is very interesting. Can everyone see the results? Yeah? Yeah, okay. So it seems that the majority would be responsible. They would call it out. They'd tell the friend and their mom about the drugs. But then there are a couple of others who would... They just keep quiet and they'd let their friend have the 18th birthday that they wished for. And then there are others who would call on the police. Yeah. Okay. Any thoughts on that? Is this a talkative group or is it a quiet group?
Normally talkative.
Okay. Does anyone want to say anything? Any take on why you voted the way you did? No judgment.
Okay.
Can I please give my perspective? Okay, after her.
I voted that I would tell the police, but then I'll do it anonymously so that my friends wouldn't have to know.
Okay.
But then I would have done the right thing.
Okay, can you
So I
describe
don't
for
think
me,
my
before you run away, Katlego, can you describe for me what is the things that were pulling you to the one side? What were you thinking about on one side? What were you thinking about on the other side?
Okay, so on the one side, I was thinking my friends are going to do drugs, which is not a good thing. They might be drug addicts. And then
Yes.
on the other hand, I was thinking this is also illegal. So if I report anonymously, I can save my friends from doing the bad thing, and then they would still not see me as a bad person.
Okay, but what about your friend? What is your friend going to think? Because you're going to leave the party,
Well,
right?
my friend at that moment, my friend at that moment would probably hate me, but in the long run, she will thank me.
Okay.
That, okay, friend, I see your point of view, why you did it.
Okay, so you feel that you've actually mentioned 3 different directions in which you're being pulled, right? Yeah. Okay, Zinhle. Okay, thank you so much, Katlego.
So I had voted that I would also be law abiding. Number one is because my friend, you know, guys, you love your friends and you try and do the best for them. That's the first that would be pulling me, that I want to be a supportive friend, but not in bad instances, you know? You try to be nice and like, friend, it's not okay, but like you shouldn't do it. But then on the other hand, you're like, this is very illegal, you know? Yeah. So I feel like rather lose one friend than lose a whole community to drugs. You understand? So me not being friends with that one person will pay back by saving the entire community, because one way it's like my one friend, if I keep quiet, I get to keep one friend and kill a whole community. But if I lose one friend, I can save other little boys and girls that come after us, you know? Just putting it out there, like in my community, something wrong is happening. So I'll just be that bigger person to be like, I'll lose a friend, it's fine, but I'll make more in the future and save my community, keep it alive.
Okay, love that. Thank you so much. And we can go on and on and go on. And all of you will have slightly different explanations for this. The main thing I'm trying to emphasize over here is that there is no right or wrong answer. All of us, depending on how far you go, you will be able to ultimately justify whatever your response is, okay? So that's the other thing. Moral dilemmas and when you're making decisions are never comfortable. But as leaders, courageous leaders, you need to be able to step up and be willing to face it. So yeah, you know you might lose a friend, but at least you felt that you stood for something, and that at the end of the day, you shall be able to make a friend. And yeah, some people might keep the friend for whatever reasons there is. She might understand that this family is in like such a tenuous situation. If anything happens to them, it explodes. Everyone will always have those reasons, but what's important is that you explore what are the options that I'm looking out over here, and what are the potential outcomes that can come out of it. But don't and never shy away from running away from a moral dilemma. And so like we said, how do you know? And I think that's what I was trying to ask Katlego, what exactly are the values that are at stake here? And so I think that's what is also critical, is that you need to be clear about what your value system is all about. And now you see how all the G4G modules are linked together. Where did we talk about value system? Under courageous leadership, remember? We talked about know your mission, and within there, I'm sure you were asked, who is your favorite leader and why do you like them? What is it you admire about them? That gave you an insight as to what your value system is. So you need, for you to be able to make good decisions that are ethically and value-based, you have to be clear about what your values are. So for example, if I were to say to you guys in the chat box, what are your value, what's your value system? What are those red lines you will never cross? I'll ask you to put it in the chat this time. Sorry, my style tends to be very interactive. I love to hear voices. I like to have a bit of interaction. You will never lie. That is Val, and I know that Val. When I want truth, I go to Val, and Val is like, nope, not yet there. Okay, anyone else? I will never kill, okay, true. Anyone else? Are we thinking? Respect comes first, okay. I will never deceive. Okay, that deceive is the lying, yeah. Anyone else? I will never betray. So you're a loyal person. I will never change who I am. I am authentic and I stand by who I am. I will never ruin my reputation. Reputation is precious. I will never forget those who stood by me. That is loyalty, yeah? Fantastic. And I can see that they're continuing to come. So always be very clear about what it is. And your value system is important because it's what gives you the courage for you to be able to say, this is what I am going to do. So for example, I think it was Zintle who said, you know, what she did was illegal. Clearly Zintle prioritizes and figures out that being a law-abiding citizen is something that is important and dear to her. For me, I'll tell you mine. I always say to people, and I've always said it on every forum, I will never sleep with anyone for a job or for a tender. That one, forget it. It will never happen. I would rather go hungry and skip meals, but I will never take that. And it's those values that allow you to be very firm and very clear, to the extent that people actually begin to respect you for what you stand for. So understanding, knowing, and reflecting on what your value system is all about is very important. Write it down. I know Asnath always likes to say, have those reflections, carry a diary. Those are things to reflect about. Slowly over time, you're going to learn things, you know, that you stand up for. For example, for me, anyone that is maligned, I always stand up against the bully. I will always stand up if you're maligning someone because of their sexual orientation. I just don't like it when you put another human being down. But it's something that I discovered later on in life when I entered into a fight and was protecting someone. Suddenly I realized, like, oh my God, Rita, you actually like to protect other people. You will never stand by there. So learn yourself. You're very young, but use these opportunities, the things that happen in front of you. Always take a step back, reflect and say, what did I learn about myself today? Other critical lesson, it's never easy to stand by your values. And I'm going to tell you a little story of something that happened to us in a work setting. And yes, it's about being a courageous leader of self, but it is, when it's happening to you, it's sometimes standing for your values and your ethics is not easy. So to give you a bit of background in terms of what I do professionally, I do what they call programmatic audits. I specialize in monitoring and evaluation as in the public health space. What does that mean? It means that these huge multi-million-dollar global health programs, there's always someone who has to keep an eye out that things are not going wrong. So I tend to work in various multifaceted teams. And I'm going to tell you a story about what happened to one of our teams. We have finance people. So the finance people are the ones who say, okay, how much money is there? Was the money spent properly? Was it used to buy the drugs? Say, for example, the vaccines that are required for the children. And then we work with what we call procurement and supply chain management people, the guys who make sure the procurement is right and that the right drugs were bought and that it went to where it was supposed to go to, that the drugs were kept in the environment that they needed to. My job comes at the end, whereby we say, those drugs that were taken to that facility, were they actually given to the people that needed to get them, to get the drugs, right? And then we validate the results. So when we work together, this is like, for example, if you're running an audit, you have your finance people, you have your procurement people, and you've got people like myself who are looking at the data. And we know how to work together to bring things together. It's a sensitive job because if we don't pass you, the monies can stop flowing. And we're talking about big monies, like 1 billion rand. Sometimes that's how much we have to approve. So in this particular instance, we were doing it in one of the countries that was receiving one of the largest amounts. I'm not going to mention the country, and it is not in South Africa. We went for lunch, as we typically used to do as team members, and we came back. And one of our team members, and we just felt the temperature in the room changing, because we always leave our laptops, we work as a group. When we need to look at files, we look at them. When we need to talk to people, we go off into a side room and we interview people, that type of thing, as we're building up the evidence. So this person comes back and finds a fat envelope, clearly filled with money, sealed up, and next to it was a bullet. And you can see what the options are. Clearly, this person had stumbled onto something that was not beneficiary to the people that we were busy auditing. And it's as if there were only two options over here. One was take the money and go and be happy. The other one is, it's your life, really, yeah? It's your life. Well, we were around the person, and immediately, and this is why you're going to hear me talk about some of the things that help you when you need to make these tough decisions. One is your village. You guys have talked about village, but you have no idea how important it can be. So immediately, I don't know, we immediately started having discussions. And the one thing that quickly came out is that there are not two options. And we started assessing what the options were. One is that, yeah, we can, by the way, we're all internationals. We could all pack our bags, go to the hotel, pick up the bags and fly out on the next flight. That is a coward's route out. And guess what? That person is going to win, because whatever it is they're trying to hide will never come out. The option we finally landed on is that we actually packed our bags, but we went to the company that contracts us and sends us to the entity that we were auditing. And we continued our audit from there. Were we scared? We were scared. And by the way, it's not only the person who's found the bullet and the money, because basically it was clearly a message to all of us. But we felt that we needed this to come out, and we figured we would get the security by staying at the other office. So it can be daunting, it can be scary, and like we're saying, it's not just simple decisions of did I see a test paper and things like that. Sometimes it can be about your life. But the trick is to then say to yourself, what are we really looking at over here? And you hear me use the word we, because you pull your village in. Even the lady who found the exam paper today, what did she do? She went and told friend. Yeah, there's something that when you feel you're being tugged at, you always inevitably want to go straight back to someone who will help you think through it. Now, how do you pick the person who is going to help you think through it? You need to build your village, but it's not just about building a village, and I want to unpack this. When you say you have a village, you need to know what every person in that village is all about. And in your village, you need to know who is your moral compass, yeah? So I, for instance, have friends whereby if I need to discuss like the most sensitive things, there are times when we really do land upon some very, very wrong things, like in the work that we do. There are some people I go and I bounce ideas off of, but I know it's because those people are the people who think like me, they prioritize like me, and they're my moral compass. They'll hold me to your values. So if you're writing down, I know you have your books. One of the things I want you to please reflect on tonight is, who is your moral compass? In this village that you say that you have, who is your moral compass? And if you are not clear about who that person is, to identify that person, think about, like I said, the person who, you know, if I go and I say this to Val, Val will be very disappointed in me. The way the young lady went and told Sharon, and Sharon is like, friend. Those are your moral compass, and those are the people that you want to keep close to you, okay? So I'm about to start wrapping up, but I want to talk about, we've talked about what a moral decision is all about. We've talked about the fact that leaders tend to face it. We've talked about the fact that you will always have options, but it is important you explore what the outcomes of each option are. Okay, and you really try to align it to your values. We've also talked about the fact that it is never easy, because sometimes it's scary, it's life-threatening, but that's what courageous leaders do. You step up, and then you go to your village for them to give you that moral support for you to be able to stand out.
Rita, are you there? Your screen
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you just froze there for a second. It's okay, carry on.
Okay, I can actually see that my internet is unstable. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about, you know, how what are the things you could do to build your ethical and values-based muscles. Yeah, the first thing is cut out anyone that is morally corrupt. And I just say that. I know it's ruthless, but you have to decide which path in life you're following. If you're willing to start making compromises now in your young lives at this point in time, where are you going to be in 20 years time, in 30 years time? You're going to be the people where society is saying, but we saw that from the word go, she started compromising. So just make it your behavior. Just get rid of the people that are morally corrupt, okay? And morally corrupt, I'm basically saying the people whose values are not aligned with you. And it goes back to the concept of village. You know, who are the people you want in your village? Who you want around your village? There'll be some you try, you test, you're not aligned, you let it go. And it's okay to let them go because they don't fit within what your life's interests are. And then proactively surround yourself with the people that demonstrate the values, the people who will cheer you on. I, for instance, have a group of friends. We're called Click, and this name was given to us while we were at university. And it's because we were women of a certain profile. We were outspoken, were protective of each other. In our days, HIV was extremely rampant. There was no, at that point in time, we didn't even know whether you got it by kissing, whether you got it by having sex. We were our sisters' keepers. Once we knew that this person has a nasty background, we would step in and we would surround our sisters. We are hardworking, we're ambitious. And when I think about the women who formed that group, Alan, one of the founders of G4G, is part of it. We got branded that way. And in the beginning, I kept on thinking, what are they saying? Are we snobs? Are we, being elitist? But I realized that no, it's because we were known for certain things. Until today, that is who we are. So today, when people say to me, oh, you girls in the clique, I smile, I laugh, and I embrace it because I think to myself, okay, at least that is what you know me for. So surround yourself with those types of people. And please don't forget that at Girls for Girls, you have so many people to choose from. You have from your mentors, you have your mentees. I hope you're going to join the alumni. You're going to meet other wonderful women from UJ and from University of Pretoria, Athlone Girls. You have a lot to choose from, but you have to be deliberate about it. You've got to say, this is who I want in my circle, so that you then have people who will push you in the right direction. The other thing I would say to you is please grow your mind. Invest time reading. If you admire someone's value-based systems, I'll give you an example. I don't know how many of you have heard about Malala. I Am Malala, and if you haven't, it's a book that's worth reading. She's a young lady that got shot by the Taliban because she stood up for education. It's worth reading, not just for the story, but it's worth reading to get into Malala's head and say, what really gave you the courage to stand up for what you really believe in? In other words, for you to understand how great leaders are able to make those tough decisions, yeah, and how they make ethical and value-based decisions at critical times. Read about them. Read about the ones who make mistakes. I think there's a book called The Big Men of Africa. It talks about people who did things wrong. Idi Amin, Mobutu Sese Seko. I know you're young, but those are people who screwed up our continent. And you need to understand, what is it they did wrong? And then you read books like this that show you what is it that was done right, so that you can make decisions for yourself. I'm sure you had the long discussion about values. Some people in the beginning tend to take values from their homes, their families, the people who are influential in your lives. But where you are right now as 18-year-old women, you can vote, yeah? It means you actually have to make up your mind. Some of us come from households whereby maybe, the value system is a little bit compromised. I, for instance, come from a colored family. My mom is what is called colored over here. I'm originally from Uganda. I didn't even know there was a classification for it. But I have cousins who, they sneer at Black people. And I'm like, but wait a moment, we are Black. And when you come from that, then I said to myself, from a very young age, I was like, wait a moment, why are they judging people on the basis of color? And I was thinking, if they're saying that person is Black and I look like what I look like, then what do they say about me? And I took a stance. For me, racism and fighting it has been a big issue for me. Probably small wonder that I ended up marrying a South African man who, was in exile as well during apartheid. So allow yourself to explore and things, and to have an independent mind around your values, because even the people around you might have certain values that are wrong. I disagree with xenophobia. Some of you may be in your houses, you hear people saying, but that one is a Mukwere, comes from such and such a place, or that one is from Limpopo. They're human beings, yeah? And you need to have that courage to be able to say to yourself, I choose. This is what's important to me, to just see human beings and to love everyone. And therefore, that means that you might even end up disagreeing with people that you love and that are, historically dear to you. The other thing I would say is practice speaking up. Use your skills in the art of communication. and use it to take up a cause. In session 5, when you did running for public office or leadership and service, like we like to rebrand it in South Africa, you know, don't just sit there and say, oh, I think that was bad. I think that was that person, that seems to not like gay people. Do something about it, and look within yourself and pick that one cause. It will make you feel a more holistic person. So I'm challenging you not to just sit with all this information in your head, but to act on it like the leaders that we want you to be. And like Gladys said, practice exercising the options and the outcomes frameworks, because it is important that you become ethical and value-based right now, not later, yeah? Because if you cheat for your exams today, what if it's uncovered when you're applying for that master's scholarship, or who betide you when you're running for presidency? It comes out then, so you've benefited, you've sneaked through the exams, you even got the job. As they are appointing the CEO, they say, no. In her final metric, she cheated in her paper. It destroys everything. So this is what we say, think about the long-term outcomes. And if that is always conscious in your head, you should be able to then protect yourself. So I'm going to leave you with a final message. And it's not just about, I see Val's video is on, which means my time is up, yeah? Okay. This message that I'm giving you is not just about ethics and values in decision making. It's a message I'm giving you, I think, for all the skills, all the lessons that you have learned in G4G. And it's one of my favorite quotes. I failed to find out who actually said it, but they say, sow a thought and you reap an action. You sow an action, you reap a behavior. You reap a behavior, you reap a habit, and then you reap a destiny. What do I mean? It means that all the knowledge that you have picked up here at G4G, go back to your books, yeah? Take these ideas and put them into practice. So for example, start simple. If it's just the art of communication, you want to start speaking clearly and with persuasion. Do that, make it an action. You have an idea, you say to yourself, I'm going to become a powerful communicator. Take that first step. You have the skills now, you've got the knowledge now, but you need to act on it, yeah? So you go out and you start speaking clearly and you start speaking persuasively. And you do that on a regular basis. That's what it means to turn it into a behavior, that people begin to understand that when Val stands up to speak, when Gladys stands up to speak, they speak persuasively and they speak clearly. You turn it into a habit. A habit is something now that is ingrained. They say it takes 21 days to build a muscle, and we like to believe that it also takes 21 days to build a skill. So you turn it into something that is now instinctive within you. And then ultimately, like I said, it becomes your destiny. Yeah, it means it becomes embodied within you. And when people are talking about you at a later point in time, then they're able to reflect on you and say, ah, what a powerful communicator. But think about it if you did that for your ethics and values, whereby you say to yourself, from this day going forward, I will always hold my value system center forward. And every time I'm making critical decisions, I will always draw on the framework that was taught to me by Girls for Girls. And you turn that into a habit so that the day you're running for president, you will be able to say, that one, impeccable with her word. Thank you very much. Thanks a million.
Rita, I turned on my video so that you could see me clapping. That's why I turned on my video.
Okay. No, thank you so much. You know, we have our little code, yeah? It's like when you see the video come on, start wrapping up. Okay. Excellent. Okay, good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rita. Thank you. And I'm sure everybody took that in and listened and took the points. I would have actually wanted you to continue, but you know, we have to go to all the other, we have to go and actually unpack this. So girls, when we go into the circles, I'd like you to reflect on what Rita has presented to us. We haven't had, obviously, she didn't structure it in a way that you would ask questions, but she did allow for you guys to engage and think about your values, because it always goes back to your values, and that your values shouldn't be compromised, that you say that this is my non-negotiable. So I'm going to ask Val to please take us to our group so that we can further discuss this.
No questions first.
Oh, so we still have 4 questions. Sorry, I'm also rushing. Okay. Questions. Anybody?
Are they shy? Oh, write down the quote. Okay, I'll write it down for you and it will be shared. So a thought, reap an action. So an action, reap a behavior. So a behavior, reap a habit. So a habit, reap a destiny. I'll send it out to you. Yeah.
Girls, I've never seen you so quiet. Why are you so shy, Victor? I've been raving to Rita about what amazing young girls you are. So I want to hear your voices.
I have a question.
Great, go ahead.
So, ma'am, I wanted to ask that what principles do you use to determine that these are my no-go areas? Like, I can't compromise on this one I can compromise on. So like, what do you use to determine that this one, it's fine, I can, you know, rock the waters a little bit on this one. The other one is like, no-go area, I'm not gonna move, it is what it is. Then how do you determine those factors when it comes to your morals and your, you know, ethical beliefs?
Okay, so you remember I talked about the fact, learn yourself. Huh? You guys are still young. You're going to have to go through it. There are no shortcuts here. You're going to have to learn things that make you mad. Yeah, like for me, I really cannot stand anytime I see someone taking advantage of a person's weakness or something like that. That drives me mad. I discovered that about myself. Yeah, so that's why I said you're going to learn yourself. Then there are some things you will go through and you think to yourself, that really doesn't bother me. Okay, I'll give you an example. One of my favorite nieces, she studies anthropology and she's always making a big cause about, you know, bones and I get it. It's important for us to know where we come from, but truthfully, it's not my issue, okay? She talks about the fact that, you know, the artifacts, she's a big negotiator for, or rather lobbyist for artifacts from Egypt, from Ethiopia, being brought back to Africa. She will go to war, she goes for marches. She says, for me, that's my principle, that's my value. We need to have these things back in Africa. Rita, it doesn't move me, okay? I understand the logic, but it's not something that's important to me. I'm giving you an example how I pick and choose, yeah? So the indicator to Rita is when I get mad, okay? Like when I see something and it riles me, that's when I know that there's something here that I need to look out for. The one about sleeping with people to get promoted and things like that, it happened in front of me. And in a quick decision, I decided I will never be that woman. We were having an interview. Okay, it's a long story, but she was my boss. We went and had a discussion, all males, and I could see the tricks that she was playing. So I had that opportunity to sit and watch her. And I remember thinking in my head, like, yo, no, I would rather walk out of here with everyone against me. But I never want to be that person, yeah? So that's why I said, have these conversations with yourself. And when I say that, I'm not saying you're mad, you're talking to yourself. I really do. I come back and I explore and I think, why were you really angry? Oh, it means that that's what's important to you. And over time, I'm 48 years old. Over time, you can clearly say what your value system is and what it isn't. Right now, I'm sure there are 3 things that are important to you, which you know you will not keep quiet about. You write it down. And over time and over the years, you will see your value system emerge and become even clearer. But that's how I do it. That's how I do it. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am, for answering my question.
Thank you so much, too.
Rebecca, I thought you had a question? No? Okay.
Priska, I think Priska wants to ask a question.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon. I'd like to know, how do you stand firm in your decision when no one is standing with you? Yes, that's the question.
Okay, so that is about it is about the courage. You have to say to yourself, you believe in that something. So for me, I draw strength from looking into the future. I think Asnath touched on it. I always, and Gladys did as well, I always ask myself, the people that admire me, the people that look up to me, you, the G4G girls, if you were to see me behaving a certain way, what would you think of me? I value your opinion. What would you think of me? And that's what gives me the courage. Then I'm able to say, not gonna happen, okay? What if you were to catch me taking a bribe from a policeman? And you know those shows whereby they sneak upon you and they say, gotcha. What if that is published, you know? And they're the G4G mentors, the G4G girls, you know, how will it go down? I always try and think of the long-term consequences. And I think that's what gives me courage. But the other one is what Gladys said. How do you sleep at night? So for instance, me, sometimes we have to make decisions, health decisions, whereby if I stop the money, children will die. Like I work in countries where malaria is the #1 killer. Children die. Even as we are talking about bringing the money in, halting it for 5 days, there are children dying every day. It sits on me. So there are times when I work like 24 hours straight and I say to myself, I would rather that is not going to sit on me. So it's that question of how do you sleep at night? For me, I know that that's how I ask myself. And I just say to myself, when I put my head down at night, my conscience must be clear. And I found that when you do that, the more that you do that, the more that you have a clean mind, you find you will kind of like be propelled to behave more and more and more like that. I have not been in that murky area where you sink yourself, you know, into corruption and into, but I've read about it, and it seems once you start, they tell you once you take the first bribe, it's so easy to take the second, the third. From there, your life is about bribery. Okay, so it's not about being brave and bold and things like that. So it's like I kind of like I hold myself to task. That's what I do. It's a very good question. I had never really unpacked it, but I think that's the way I handle it. That's the way I handle it. Yeah. Thanks a million.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Go ahead, Tinswalo.
Okay, ma'am, obviously you've encountered stuff where you were tempted, if I can say, tempted. So I wanted to know, when do you know, like, when do you know, no, now this is where I draw the line?
Mm-hmm. When you can name it. Who was it who I was doing that answered earlier on? And I said, describe it. The beautiful young lady, Katlego. Yeah, you remember when I said, what are the values at stake? So that is what I do, Tinswalo. I name it. What are the values that are at stake over here? I am being asked for a bribe. Oh my gosh, yeah? You call it out. I am being asked to do a sexual favor for you? Hell no, it's not gonna happen. I'm being asked to cheat? Never. I'm being asked to discriminate? No. So name it. I think when you can name it, then it means you're calling yourself consciously and you're saying to yourself, Rita, you mean you're a person who bribes? Rita, you're a corrupt person? When you look at it that way, I think that's when you stop. Yeah, you're able to just halt yourself and call yourself to order. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Ma'am, was there a time where you came across such a temptation and you nearly you had that?
Yes. Yeah, let me give you a quick example, because I know I need to close it down. I actually was going to talk about it earlier on. So I was part of a UN family. My husband was a UN diplomat. So every 3 or 4 years, we always had to pack up and relocate across countries. The way as a mother, I hold my family together. There are certain things I do. One of them is we always go everywhere with our dogs, because my daughter, her one sanity is that animals are with her, they're her babies, so she calls them. And when we were leaving Namibia to go to Uganda, we were relocating. We always leave the animals and then we go ahead, because you're in a hotel, you're waiting for your things to get shipped through. Then you have to find a house and then you move into the house. Anyway, long story short, I found the house, so we're ready for the dogs to come to us. The dogs had been left behind in Namibia with friends of ours who had rented the house that we had in Namibia. And when the dogs were being shipped to Uganda, we kept on asking, like, what are the rules? By the way, taking animals across borders is very complicated. what are the rules for Uganda? What vaccination, what immunization do they need? And these guys are like, just whatever the standards are in Namibia, they'll work out. The dogs get onto a flight. They have to go to Johannesburg, and in Johannesburg, they're now being put on the flight to come to Uganda. Okay, so and you spend a lot of money. The tests that you do for the dogs, the tickets for the dogs, it's ridiculous. Okay, so but we do that for our daughter just for her to have that sanity. As the dogs were about to be boarded from Johannesburg, they said no. We have contacted the officials in Uganda, and they've sent us 3 pages of what needs to happen to the dogs. So the person who is now calling me is a gentleman who had shipped the dogs out of Namibia, and he's like, Rita, the dogs are not going to make it to Uganda. My daughter she's on speakerphone because we're all like waiting. We were tracking, how are the dogs coming? So we knew, okay, they left Windhoek. They're now in Johannesburg. We're waiting for them to come onto another flight. My husband is also here. And we're like, but no one was ever giving us any information. So my husband quickly calls the person who is supposed to be the contact person about the dog's vaccines and things like that. And the man is like, yeah, I can make it happen. You know what that means. Yeah, like, no, let them come. Just talk to me nicely. So we've got the guy who is telling us, do the dogs go back to Namibia? Can they be boarded to Uganda? It's a lot of money that has been spent. My daughter is sitting there with tears in her eyes. My husband is over here. But in our family, we do have that policy. Even he, as a diplomat, he cannot be seen to bribe. But I tell you, at that moment, I'm sitting there thinking the amount of money I have spent. I'm looking at my child who is crying, and I'm thinking to myself, how much can this guy ask? Yeah. My conscience is my husband. He's the one who was like, hey, we're not having this conversation. So when the moment he called it out, he said it. He says, you're asking for a bribe. And the moment he said that, because all along I was thinking to myself, okay, how much more can it cost? But I was naming it wrong. What was being asked for here was a bribe. So the moment my husband said it, he says, I don't pay bribes. I was like, wait a moment, this is what we're actually talking about. And the decision was very clear. Looked at my daughter and we said to her, Keza Mama, it's not going to happen. And we lost those dogs. We just said to the gentleman who was keeping them in Namibia, because he had been looking after them, and he just said, it won't happen again. Once they stay, we'll take the dogs. I said to them, keep the dogs, and we ended up having to get different dogs in Uganda. So that is, it comes, it's sneaky, it comes so quickly, and you're thinking, oh, okay, let me spend a little bit more money. No. You're being asked to compromise your values. So that's an example from my life. Yeah, it happens. So that, again, village, you see, my husband is in my village. He's the one who said, like, Rita, we don't bribe. And the moment he said it, I was like, whoa, wait a moment. We actually don't do that. And so, yes, despite the fact that I would love to remain a hero in my daughter's eyes, I had to make up for it later on. I let that go. And we had to find other dogs. Yeah. So it comes. Yeah, it comes. And it, like I said, it tugs at you. Yeah, cool.
Okay, I'm going to mute. Okay, thanks a lot. And thank you, Rita, again. Thanks for the amazing presentations and giving us the takeaways in terms of ethics and values, and not just looking at them in terms of values, but the moral compass, the hard decisions. If I were to sleep at night, where do I go? What do I come back to? What is in my mind? And later on in the future, will I look at someone and say that, yes, you bribed me, or I bribed you, sorry, or yes, I slept with you and now we're in the same position? How will they always look at me? Yeah. So with those takeaways, I'm going to ask Val to take us into the groups. Thanks again.
I'd like to say a final thank you and to say to the girls how proud we are of you. You are a special cohort. Like I said, the fact that you've put in, your super energy these last few days, thank you very much. And thank you to the mentors as well for making the time. So this is not just from Rita. This is, I think, on behalf of the broad G4G. I hope we're going to meet you. I keep on saying, I can't wait for lockdown to end and then we can have all the girls together. But you really mean a lot to us. And please do stay part of our village. We hope to see you at the alumni. And God bless and Godspeed. Thank you so much for having me. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Okay, so welcome back, everybody. I hope you had very interesting discussions in your circles. Who would like to share what was discussed in their various circles? I will not choose the group name. I'll just let you go ahead.
Can I start?
Yes, Vanessa.
Hello, everyone. I'm from Group 1, the Mbogotos. So the first thing that we discussed was our morals and values. And the average morals that we listed was honesty, loyalty, freedom, and respect. And then our mentor told us that we're gonna come across temptations, but we always have to weigh our temptations, and we always have to weigh our options, and we must never compromise and stick to our values, to the point that if you know you're gonna be honest, just tell yourself, okay, if I die, I die. I'm gonna be honest. And then we were also told that it only takes one simple decision to ruin your life. So you must always check the options that you choose. So with that being said, I'm going to leave you guys with a quote that I found from Asnath Mahapa's Instagram. Yes, I was kind of stalking her, guys. So, it is a
Vanessa, sorry, you're on mute. Vanessa, sorry, just unmute yourself again.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, you start the quote again, please?
It is a quote by Jim Rohn. It says, life and business is like the changing seasons. You cannot change the seasons, but you can change yourself. Therein lies the opportunity to live an extraordinary life, the opportunity to change yourself. Yes, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Vanessa. Anyone else?
Can I go next?
Thanks.
Okay, so I'm from Group 5, the daily. So first thing we spoke about our take on retail, and we asked what we think about it, what we think about what he spoke about. So people spoke about how he never took more. Other people spoke about how they.
Rebecca, I don't know if it's me, but I can't hear you clearly.
Yeah, she's breaking. Rebecca, can you start again? Or even if you can close the video then so that you can be more audible.
Okay, someone else go after to start. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, sorry about that. As I was saying, I'm from Group 5, the Dalians. So we spoke about what Reese was talking about. People were talking about how they originally did not take around their morals and values seriously, and after that, after they heard it, they were inspired, felt she was courageous and does not compromise. Okay, so somebody spoke about compromising your values for friends, and were advised to understand the issue, look at your options, evaluate potential outcomes, whether it would be successful or failure, and will give advice that sometimes no is the answer. You don't need to explain yourself all the time. Guide values, our non-negotiables. People spoke about a lot of non-negotiables. I will never cheat. Respect being a major factor. Forgiveness, asking respectfully to elders. Loyalty, kindness, not being deceitful. Forgiveness, not mistreating other people, and etc. Because there are actually a lot. And then people also spoke about the non-negotiables, things that they would never do. People spoke about before marriage is a no. never having a gun or a knife, never taking any bribes, I mean, never doing something with intention to hurt other people's feelings, never killing, never plotting something against somebody, and never selling drugs. And what I got from that is that we should know our values and stand by them. Thank you.
Can I please go next?
Go ahead,
Yes,
Zinhle.
Zinhle, sorry, I was on mute.
Oh, okay. So I am from Group 4, which is a Tech Frontliners. And today we discussed moral decisions and the fact that the decisions you choose to make based on your morals don't just affect you, but people that come behind you or along the way do have to affect others. And we touched on the 3 demonstrations we had today on the group, like the first one on Miss Sharon and Rebecca's demonstration, on the fact that though Rebecca wanted to like cheat on the test, in the long run it ends up affecting her and the other students because they didn't study and therefore they can't reflect on the marks they're actually going to get based on their own strengths. And then we also reflected on the fact of the drugs that were being sold at the friend's house and the fact that if we did not report them or do something about it, at the end of the day, it would affect the community and the children in the community, because now you'd have not just the few people at the party smoking, but now a whole community hung up on drugs. And the last I wanted to discuss was that they were advising us based on decisions we should make based on our morals and where we come from, and most of all where we want to go in our lives. You know, don't just think on now, but think of where you see yourself tomorrow. Like when you wake up tomorrow morning, will you be happy with the decision you made yesterday, pardon me. And then after we were done with that, we also discussed the fact that this was our last meeting together, and we showed appreciation for the kind of people we were and what we grew into over the course of the 6 sessions we've had together. And we mostly just said what we loved about each other and what we got to know of each other during the short time we've been together, and the fact that we're going to be sisters despite this platform. And yeah, that was what we discussed in our group. Thank you.
Thank you, Zinhle. That was beautifully said.
Yes,
Anyone
ma'am.
else?
Can I talk? Yes.
Yes,
Thank you. Hi guys, I'm from Group 3, Girls Without Borders. What we talked about is knowing ourselves knowing who we are as a person, knowing our ethics and values. When you know who you are as a person, you will stand for you know what you stand for, and you'll be able to make the decisions that won't compromise the values that you have. And we also talked about having sixth sense, meaning that sometimes sixth sense can help us make important decisions. Yes, and the second thing we talked about was aligning our values with our beliefs, meaning that one can use their values and ethics to do positive change within their communities. For example, volunteering and yeah, all the other stuff. And the third point we talked about was, no, we didn't talk about it, but we got to the opportunity to talk about what we wouldn't do and the stuff that we wouldn't do that will compromise our values and ethics. Yes, that's what we talked in the group.
Thank you. Thank you, Priska. Anyone else?
Can I give feedback, please?
Yes, Lesego, thank you.
Hi everyone. I'm from the best group ever, Group 2, and that is Diamonds in the Rough. So our mentors shared personal stories of how they had to make decisions based on their values and maintain their moral ethics, and they were very personal and they were very touching. So Mom Ayanda told us of how she had to kind of compromise her relationship with her cousin who doesn't believe in marriage, and she believes in marriage. So from that we concluded that sometimes it's important for you, in as much as you have your own values and principles, it's important that you acknowledge the next person's values and principles, and that you don't overstep them or kind of make it tense for the next person. So always respect the next person. And then Mam Tombi shared her story of how she and Mam Asnath had to fight and fight and fight to give 7 girls an opportunity to qualify as pilots. So he was not willing to pay for the girls and all of that, and they were asking for bribery and all of those things. So they had to then, stand their ground. They had to speak up, and they had to call things out and say, no, we're not going to do it. But moreover, they actually utilized their village. They used their connection in aviation to actually ask another company, Blue Chip, to therefore train the other girls. So it was just beautiful, and I love them so much. And then what we also did is that we spoke about our futures and how our mentors are willing to go the extra mile to help us get into the various fields that we want to get into. And I love this group so much. I love you all so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Lesego. That was beautiful. That was well said. So I think everybody has given feedback, and I'd like to hand over to Val. Mute.
Not one more group? I think there's one more group, not so?
I have 5.
We've done all. Oh, we did all. Okay. I felt like there was one missing.
Efficiency, Val.
You are like a well-oiled machine, Gladys. Well done, man. And you look amazing too. I love the earrings and looks like
it's graduation day, guys.
It's graduation day.
We got to the finish line.
All right. So just quickly, everyone, please turn on your videos. Just for 2 seconds, please turn on your videos. I know it's bad, the connection. Please, everybody. Yes, that's more like it. That's more like it. Smiles, smiles. Oh, you look absolutely stunning. Okay. Ah, lovely, Slati. Blessing, can you turn your video on? Nisaiba? Now, Nix, I know you haven't got you. There we go. Looking at everyone. Okay, photo time. Quickly, everybody. Smile for me, please. Big smiles. Big graduation smiles. All right, I'll just do the first page again. Hold on. Big smiles and thank you. Okay, so what I'm going to show for you first is I'd like you to sit back, and then we will go into the actual graduation. But this one is just a little bit of down memory lane. Hold it a moment for me, please, while I share. All right, some of the girls have asked to say a few words before we actually go into the graduation. Swallow, would you like to start? Or Priska, did you want to say something, or were you happy just to have your slide shown? Priska, do you want to say a few words?
Yes, I'd like to say a few words.
Go ahead.
I'd like to thank our mentors, and most importantly, I'd like to thank our mentors, and most importantly, Ma'am Asnath and Ma'am Gloria for being here for us. Ma'am, are you guys hearing?
Yes, we are. Go ahead.
Yes, I would like to thank you. I would like to thank them for the knowledge and for nurturing us. Thank you for the guidance, and most importantly, for being our mentors. Thank you.
Thank you, Priska. Tinswalo.
Okay, oh, am I audible enough?
Yes, you are.
Okay, here goes. Okay, here goes. My final words to my mentors. When I first got here, I was just a little girl with big dreams and little to no idea on how to begin or where to begin the journey to fulfill my dreams. I walked in here with no idea what it means to be a woman or what it took to be a woman. It is with great sadness, but with pride, that I sit here today before you phenomenal women to say thank you. It is no secret how much I've learned from you ladies. You sure did make this horrible year much more better than it could have been. You ladies gave this young woman sitting in front of you a purpose. I looked forward to every meeting and sure do wish I had attended every meeting. It breaks my heart to know that I missed one meeting that would have been one of the best meetings of my life because I'm such a speaker. But anyways, that's okay. I am so grateful to have been given the opportunity to meet all you guys. Without you, being a young woman would still be my biggest mystery that I would have yet to walk. In you guys, I found more support, and I'd like to shine that spotlight on Miss Val and Miss K. I found motivation, and I'd like to shine that spotlight on Miss Asnath and Miss Ndombi. All in all, I found my village. I pray to God you live longer and are given the chance to change more little girls' lives and change them into young women. I urge that you continue to do what you do, and because it is great work. Because I walked in here a little girl, but I leave a young woman. Which takes me back to a question we were once asked. I couldn't answer the question at first, but today I sit here and I can answer the question. The question was, who are you? My answer, I am Tinsalo Pedi, a once was young girl and now a young woman who prides herself in being a woman, a young upcoming civil engineer who aspires to one day be better as a guest speaker to inspire other young women in the making. Thank you so much, my village. Because of you, I know not to use being a woman as an excuse, never to give up, and most of all, never forget who I am and what I stand for. Continue as you are. Continue to be women of integrity, women of pride, courageous leaders, women amongst women. In Tswana they say, "Mosadi o tshwara thipa ka bohaleng." And that, my fellow mentors, you did just that. Continue to inspire young ladies, continue to groom them, and because I believe that what you phenomenal woman because I believe that's what you phenomenal women were made for. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tinswalo. That was so beautiful. Sinclair? Sinclair, do you want to go ahead? Sinclair, are you on the call? All right, Sinclair is not responding. Should we go ahead to Zanele?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, good evening, ladies. I would love to thank each and every person that has put so much effort into making it into each and every session. You are highly appreciated, and this is coming from me and Girls Without Borders. We appreciate each and every one of you so much, and we say thank you for what you have done. I would also like to thank each and every mentor. All I can say is that your efforts have not gone in vain. We have seen your works, and we highly appreciate your works. It wasn't by mistake that you were chosen for this. God knew that the purpose that you had upon your lives was to impact young women like us into finding ourselves and into upbringing ourselves to who we are today and into the future. We still say thank you so much. From group 1 all the way to group 5, we have improved throughout every session. Thank you for making us a family, for making us one, and for uplifting our self-esteem, self-consciousness, and ourselves as a whole. We still say thank you so much. Girls Without Borders, well, my group, I love y'all so much. I say thank you for each and everything, the words, the quotes that you gave me each and every morning. I say thank you, guys. It was a great work that you put into me, and nothing was in vain and nothing was so small. Everything that you did was major upon my life. And to Mom Gloria, Mom Asnath, and Mom Ntombi, thank you so much for being my rock, a shoulder to lean on, a second mother, and you have become superstars in my life. Thank you, G4G.
Thank you so much, Sanele. Very beautiful words. Vanessa?
Hello, everyone, once again. First of all, I'd like to say you guys look so beautiful. You guys are so stunning. Okay, guys, I have never had a mentor my whole entire life. I have never been exposed to a group where I can be open about anything, a group where I can just feel free to talk about literally anything. So firstly, I'd like to thank Val and Revelina for being such great mentors to Group 1, the Bogotas. You guys have been so amazing. Thank you to all the mentors for showing us that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you guys for boosting our confidence. And also, most importantly, I would like to thank God for trusting you guys with our lives, for trusting you guys with our future. You guys have been the greatest mentors anyone could ever ask for. And I'm very grateful and I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. And last but not least, Lesego. Lesego, are you on the call or did you? Lesego dropped off.
Lost Lesego and
We lost
Zintle.
Ah, okay. Well, if they come back on, we can have them talk at the end. So guys,
Okay.
sorry, because my sound was a little bit wonky, I'm just going to play that memorial section again, just because I think it makes noise and sound. All right. Now what we're going to do is
back in, Val.
Sorry?
Lesego is back in.
Lesego, do you want to go ahead with your words? Lesego, are you there?
Ma'am?
Yes. Lesego, are you there? Okay. I think she's struggling to connect to sound. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, go ahead.
Lesego? Lesego, don't worry, we'll let you say a few words right at the end. I'm now going to start with the graduation, and basically it's just I'm going to ask each mentor please to speak to their cohort, and we are starting with Revelina. If you would please name your girls who have graduated. Here we go. First, go ahead, please.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. It's afternoon. Good afternoon once more. So my group is Group 1, Team Bogoto's the brave women or ladies. So the first one who's graduating is Blessing Kamisa.
Next lady.
And then we also have Haubutse Carol and Msimanga. We have Rodina Gwambe. We have Vanessa Damari.
And I think that is everyone from our team. Revelina, I'd like to congratulate you on attending all of the sessions, and thank you for being such an amazing mentor, and thank you for standing in when I was having issues with helping the girls in and out. You were absolutely phenomenal. You carried that circle on your own. Thank you. I'm so grateful to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Who's going to speak for Diamonds in the Rough? Ntombi, do you want to do Diamonds in the Rough?
Okay, I can do the honors. All right, for Group 2, Diamonds in the Rough. We're no longer Diamonds in the Rough, hey? We are polished diamonds now.
Yes, you are.
The first certificate goes to Katleho Kisilwe. Katli, well done. Next one goes to Tete Fly, Lisicho Mwasheng. Well done, Sicho. And the last one goes to Shalati Kethi Loti Ngobeni. Well done, Loti.
And the beautiful mentors for this cohort are Ayanda, congratulations and well done, and thank you for everything. And beautiful Ntombi, thank you so much for everything that you did for this cohort. Really appreciate it. All right, Girls Without Borders. Asnath, will you do this one?
Yes. Okay, so for our girls, Lumbu Priska Luwawa, congratulations. Tandi Wenzima, but she couldn't attend.
No, she couldn't attend. Sorry, sorry.
And Zanele Ezala, well done, girls.
Thank you. And then Asnath, I'm sure you've got plenty of these already. But you and Gloria are both like so seasoned mentors, but you both get a certificate as well. I'm sure you can fill a wall with your certificates by now. Well done to both.
Thank you, Vala.
All right, thank you, Gloria, for joining us halfway through and for just being absolutely phenomenal in your contribution, even though you joined us halfway through. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, tech frontliners. Who's going to speak for tech frontliners? Who's going to speak for tech frontliners?
Sorry, I was on mute. It's Sharon.
Okay, go ahead, Sharon.
Okay, for our group, Tech Frontliners Group 4, this lady particularly, it's very special because she's got networks problem. We were actually talking about how we love her resilience. She never gave up. She attended all sessions despite being constantly kicked out by Zoom. Nusabia Ndakuritimana. Congratulations, Nusabia. Our poet, Tintswalo Tselapedi. Congratulations, Tintswalo. And our Miss Confidence, Zintle Gianni, well done. And that's it from our groups.
And mentors, I would like to say thank you, Sitali, and thank you to Sharon for everything that you did in terms of your contribution. Thank you so much. And then last but not least, and ladies, I must tell you, this is an incredible group in terms of how many of they won the prize in terms of number of graduates. So well done to the Dandelions, absolutely phenomenal. The highest number of graduates. Who's going, Nikki? Are you going to take us through?
Yes, I'm going to take us through. Hello, everybody, and well done to the Dandelions for their commitment. I'd like to congratulate Utimaling Macheru for graduating for this. Yay, Utimaling. I'd also like to congratulate Kutlana Bianca Mkaba. Well done. Brilliant commitment. Amazing. Our shining star, Melita Mkolela. Well done. You were also so committed. You guys are great. Michelle Dube, another one of our rising stars. Congratulations on graduating. And last but not least, Rebecca Unyani. You've got such a big voice. You're shy, but you've done so well. So well done. You're brilliant. Thank you.
And then, ladies, I'm going to just say a few words here because Nikki used to work for me many years ago. And I am so proud to say that she is now mentoring young girls. And then I think she's done a fantastic job on this cohort. And I feel very proud. I feel like a mother and daughter. Because she's come through and now mentoring. So Nikki, well done. I'm so proud of you, girl. I'm so very proud of you. And Gladys, thank you for everything that you've done. And well done on your beautiful moderating today. I think you did a fantastic job. Thank you. All right, and now we move into some additional things, ladies. So we had 30 mentees and mentors attend the 3 sessions or more. And in appreciation, you will each be receiving one of these beautiful handmade aircraft, crafted by a gentleman, Sharon, I'm not sure if you know his name, if you want to share what his name is.
Maurice. His name is Maurice.
Yeah, and I mean, girls, you've got to see these. They are absolutely stunning. You're each going to get one of them, and the mentors who attended 3 sessions or more will also get one each. And this was donated by Alicia Butler, who was one of our mentors, but unfortunately, when we changed the timings, she wasn't able to join us. So we are very grateful. She donated all of these to us. And then these amazing girls attended all 6 sessions. And I mean, that is an incredible achievement. Blessing, Carol, Katlejo, Lesejo, Priska, Nusaiba, Melita, Michelle, and Rebecca. Well done to you. That is absolutely phenomenal. And Ms. Rita Motlana has gifted you each a copy of Malala's book. So I hope that you enjoy that, and I will be delivering them to you in the near future. But congratulations and well done on that incredible commitment. And finally, for your attendance, your engagement, your participation, and overall enthusiasm, the following girls have won tablets, and we want to say thank you to the Rivers Foundation and Nusco, who's one of the G4G directors. These are the girls who have won tablets. Congratulations, everyone. I hope that they are things that you can use towards becoming future courageous leaders. We are so proud of you, and we're so proud of everything that you contribute to this cohort. You have been truly phenomenal. You've overcome network issues. You kept coming back even though you were struggling. You just gave it your everything, your commitment, your voices, your involvement. We can't even begin to say thank you and congratulations on everything that you did. So well done. And girls, we wish you the very best. What I will try and do is I'm going to make a plan. I will contact each of you who graduated individually to see how I can make a plan to get your prizes to you and your airplanes to you, and we will get them delivered to you ASAP as soon as we possibly can. But well done to everyone. Would anyone like to say some words? Lesego, you back? Would you like to say your words now?
Yes, I am. Can everyone hear me?
We can.
Okay, thank you so much. So before I say something, I just like to read something for my mentors. And it says, I'm proud to be a G4G graduate and stand up here today to say thank you to everyone who helped me on my way. I had help from many other mentors and lots of leaders too, but I want to take the time to give a special thanks to you. I would get discouraged at some points along the trail. You'd smile at me and tell me, to succeed, you first must fall. You never let me give up when sometimes I wanted to. So this G4G certificate that I now have, in part belongs to you. It's hard for me to tell you just how much you mean to me. So I'll show you by becoming the best G4G graduate I can be.
Thank you, Lesego. Those are such beautiful words. Thank you very much. You have been an absolute star. This cohort would not have been able to get started without you. We cannot say thank you enough for everything that you do. Go ahead, Lesego.
Firstly, I'll just bear all to this cohort. You have made time, you've taken time of your busy schedules to come here to teach us valuable life skills. I thank you for not giving up on us, for always encouraging us, for always having our backs. I remember a couple of days ago, I cried myself to sleep. And Mom Ayanda and Mom Dombi were the first people to call me and to tell me not to give up. Mom Val, you have been there with me throughout the whole journey. It was so tough getting the names, getting everything, but we made it happen. Thank you so, so much for making this cohort happen despite the challenges like COVID-19. You still said, we'll do it visually if we have. So thank you so, so much. Mom Asnath, I thank God for the day that I met you at the National Aviation Summit, and you said I'm going to take a couple of you guys under my wing and ensure that you guys can be the best girls that you can be. So thank you so, so much for bringing together this phenomenal group of women who have been there with us and for us. I thank you so much. To my mentees, I'm just speaking from the heart. Guys, I'm so proud of each and every one of you guys. And I just hope that you're not only listening here on on the cohort, but you're going to implement the skills that were taught to you, that you're going to utilize them, that you're going to become courageous leaders, because that is what these phenomenal women want for all of us. I wish all of you guys the best with your final exams. Go out there, take the world on. You belong there. You are phenomenal women. Let's do this. Thank you.
Muslim. Now go to Vanessa. Oh, Muslim, where you tell you to them?
Hi, Miss Said.
Yep.
I don't know
There's
how to
someone
mute
mic
her.
that is on. There's someone mic that's on, yeah.
Okay, thanks. Handing over to you, Val.
Would anyone else like to say a few words before Asnath can close for us?
Excuse me, ma'am, it's Carol.
Go ahead, Carol.
Okay, ma'am, I just wanted to thank each and every one that's part of this group. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy lives to actually contribute in helping us figure out what we want to do and just basically contributing in establishing our lives. So I'm just very grateful and thank you for the prizes. Yes, so thank you so much. Be blessed, all of you.
Thank you.
Absolute pleasure, Carol.
May I please say something as well?
Go ahead, Revelina.
Oh, okay. So I was watching the Miss SA pageant yesterday and the winner, which is Shudufat. So she said something very important about the powerhouse being the mind. And when I take it and apply it to us, AMF group, I see the power as being us, because each and every one of us has a superpower. We have those who are poets, we have those who are confident to stand in front of all of us and deliver speeches. We have those of you who are always here, who are willing to do things. We have those of you who came out of your comfort zone. And at the beginning, there was where you felt you can't attend because of whatever reasons. And I remember Mom Asnath saying, we are teaching you life skills. And I hope, I truly hope, from the first session when we said we are building a village to today when you graduate as mentees of G4G, you actually now understand what we meant by saying we are giving you life skills. We are having negotiators now. We are having people who can communicate. We are having courageous leaders. Some of you didn't even know you were courageous leaders, I swear, up until we made you aware that you do have that superpower to lead. You can take on the stages. You can lead wherever you want to lead. And I am so, I don't know what to say. There's a lot going in my mind and coming to my mouth. It's a mess. But all I can say is your commitment and your participation was the most important. You did your homeworks in the midst of everything that was happening. I was looking at that, the slideshow that we had. We started off wearing jackets and saying, oh, it's so cold. And now we say, oh, it's hot. So that's how we've traveled. It seemed as if we're going nowhere, but look at you guys. You must look back and reflect and say, wow, we've come a long way. Because also as mentors, remember, we're also learning from you guys. We have grew. From the first day we met you, I promise you, I personally have grew. I have learned a lot. And I want to say thank you to all of you, the mentees. Don't become strangers. We still have your back. This is the community. This is that village we built, that safe village to come when you have any type of problem, be it personal, be it educational, be it any type, you shout anytime. And every single one of us is here for you guys. And to the mentors as well. Whew, these women are working very hard. But I am so, I don't know. I don't even know how to say it in words, but I'm also proud of the mentors team. We've prepared. We had preparation. We've prepared. We came in prepared. We made sure we delivered for you guys, and just keep on knowing this deep down that we love you so much. That's why we stick around. That's why we're present all the time. That's why we had the energy, even though we were tired. But fake it till you make it. That's where it works, to say, bring in the energy. And thank you so much for a beautiful journey. It was my first time mentoring, and I swear I will do it over and over again because of you guys. I'm the youngest, by the way. So if you look at me, I'm turning 21 next month. Hence, I am in this. This as for the photo shoot. So thank you so much.
Can I say something, Val?
Go ahead.
I just want to say exactly what Revelina shared. It's also my first mentorship group, and I'm just glad that my camera doesn't work today, because I've been brought to tears with emotion of how proud I feel to be part of this group. To each and every person, from a mentor to a mentee, that has taught me something every day, that has shown their commitment, that has given me inspiration, and has helped me step up. And you know, I just continue. I'll look forward to continuing this journey. It's been beautiful, and yes, Gloria, I've made a friend in Gladys, and I've made many other friends, and in each one of you. And yeah, thank you for everything, guys. It's been wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Miss Nix, you are amazing. Well done to you. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Anyone else?
Okay, I can say something to the girls.
Thank you, Gloria.
When I joined this cohort, I felt at home, because it was talking to my home, away from home, coming from the aviation industry. I just want to say to the mentees and the mentors, this is the beginning of the journey. It is not the end of the journey. We want to see you applying the concepts that you have learned. Don't just keep that as a theory. Go and do something in your village, in your own space, at home as well. That's what we want to see. You have a platform, the alumni. Join that so that you can now show us that you have grown and you have the confidence to take those leadership roles in the future. We rely on you. The future is in your hand. And I just want to say thank you to everyone. I am going to shine the spotlight on every one of you. I really felt at home. Thank you.
Our Queen Gloria, thank you for everything that you bring. Always such value to every session you join. Thank you. You're phenomenal. Thank you.
Thank you, Val. Thank you for words of affirmation.
I would also like to say something.
Go ahead, Sharon.
To the mentees, I think I said this to our SECA. The baton has been passed on to you. It is now in your hands to take that baton, run with it, keep the fire burning. The principles that we have taught you, as Aus Gloria has said, go and build another village outside this village and impart those principles with your new village. Because we as women, if we collaborate and work together, we've got the power to change the narrative that says women cannot be leaders. The power is within us. Well done, ladies, for graduating. Thank you.
Asnath, I think it's over to you to close us out.
Okay. Thank you, Val. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, I didn't expect this. So yeah, I became emotional as well. I did not expect this. Sometimes when you do things, you don't realize the impact that you're having on people's lives. You know, for me, I'll just start by, I just want to thank the mentors first, especially Val. I said to her the other day that I have no idea where she takes the energy from. She must give us, she must share with us some of that muti that she drinks, because Val will start at 6 in the morning and at 8 o'clock at night, she's with us. You know, so thank you for all the effort that you've put in. And I know she's not only looking after this cohort, she's just taking care of everyone in G4G. You want something, Val is your go-to person, you know, in any. So, and sometimes maybe you don't realize what impact you're having. I just want to say to you, you do have you do make an impact. And thank you, 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 thank you so much. The mentors, you know, most of you have jobs, and yet, as Revelina was saying, we'll meet for preparations for the sessions, and you'll be there, you know, to prepare yourselves. So you've taken time out of your busy schedules, because this means a lot to you, you know. Being of service to people means a lot to you. So I just want to say thank you again. Thank you for everything. Thank you for all the hard work. Thank you. Thank you so much. You know, sometimes there's a lot of things that are happening in the background without some of you or some of us being aware. So just thank you, you know. I know Sharon had to go and drop off the aircraft at Val's house, or I don't know where you met, but you know, things like that are happening in the background that sometimes we are not aware of. And I just want to say thank you. The mentees, you know, it's been a challenging year. I don't like using the word difficult or hard. It's been a challenging year. So why I like using the word challenging is because challenges you can overcome. There's always a way, you know. So from my side, I also want to say thank you for staying strong through this challenge. It's been a challenge for everybody, but I can only imagine for you in grade 12 when you're looking forward to finishing your high school, you know, and this happens. So thank you for staying strong. Thank you for believing in us. And you have no idea, I've learned so much. I always say that I never stop learning, you know, since we started here. I learn every time, you know. And I think sometimes when we're at a certain age, we think, okay, those are matriculants. You can't actually learn anything from them until you actually sit down with, with the matriculant and you realize that it's not possible to know everything. So thank you for the lessons that you've taught us, you know. They say a child belongs to a community. Growing up, that's what they used to say. This village is your community. This is where you belong. So don't become a stranger. I'm reiterating one Revelina's words, do not become a stranger. You need anything. If you lose my phone number, you've got Val's number, you've got Sharon's number, you've got Lady's number, hey, you've got everybody's, you know, Ayanda's number, you've got Sitali's number, you've got, just contact any of them and they'll make sure they get your message across to whoever you want. And in actual fact, they'll just give you the person's number. So this is your home. And we really hope to see you, as Mamrita said, in the alumni. We really hope that what we've imparted, you'll go on. The baton is now in your hands, you know. And with the messages that I had, the pictures that I saw, to me, it says that I'm living a life of significance. So thank you. Thank you.
And we can officially say that the cohort is closed. Thank you, ladies. All the best.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
I'll play us some music to take us out.
This is so sad.
Especially because we're not together, but we have to organize that we come together. We have to.
Yes. Virtual hugs to you all.